I'm Nikki Wallschlaeger, and I'll be reading for the Poetry Project's House Party series. I have a couple of poems for you tonight. The first one is called Cloud of Feelings. I want to hold a cloud, but it's made of air. A smog of tweets makes the world go round. The confusion of clouds predicting a storm. Think nothing of it. Bombs are natural now. Explosives wrapped in their howled brows, exploiting crisis and pushing the inevitable. Bluebirds know it's a new day. They whistle without confusion. Listen, how do we speak to light at the end of the holographic tunnel? My first smoking question of a new season. To begrudge feelings we once had, released. The future reading books and understanding tweeting, unbreathable air. In the confusion of so much suffering and sovereign comfort. Exploring the rights of violence, an old feeling publicized and burning, cyclones, hailstorms, slapping the drafts. Think nothing of it, birds. Get out of their way. The powerful are talking. Don't breed the confusion sideswiped in holographic traffic. A question for bluebirds. If you, dear bird song, took away our cloud of feelings, would anyone notice? Send tweet. What if heaven is just another white folks' kitchen? Here comes that damn psychiatrist again after another night of obstructed sleep. The nurses were required to poke their heads in their rooms every 15 minutes to make sure the patients didn't off themselves with their bed sheets. Her doctor was a white woman painfully self-conscious about her capacity to sympathize with black women as human beings. Now she needed to convince a psychiatrist whose suicidal tendencies had slowed to the acceptable sludge of lowered self-esteem instead of the urgency to end her life that put her there. "How are you doing today?" she asked. "I'm feeling much better," she said, smiling. "Any suicidal thoughts?" "Oh, the usual," she replied. "The usual? Could you tell me about the thoughts you're having?" "Yes," she said. "They say I need to get the hell out of here before they catch me again." But I managed to interrupt their conversation, she said. "They're looking out for me, letting me know I have options when it gets bad." "How do you know when it's bad?" said the psychiatrist. "When they shout too much," she said. "It's when I know they surrendered. But I have a defense against them when they get too loud for my body to handle. Something I've been working on in my peaceful moments, when I'm gardening, reading books, cooking a fine meal for myself, loving a woman, making a sweet man blush." She continued, "Look, I'm not sure if I'm afraid of dying. It's something everybody does, so it feels irrelevant to slap so much attention on it. I'm not methodically religious, but the thought that scares me is, what if life is only a dress rehearsal for your role in the afterlife? What if heaven is the same story for people as it is down here? Can you dig it? It got quiet when I started thinking that, figuring if death was worse, I may as well stick around. At least it ain't eternity. I feel better now about going home. Maybe I'll adjust my habits. Try to live as long as I can despite them." She chuckled. The psychiatrist, academically trained in patience, became brisk and professional. "What I'm going to do is adjust your medication. It should help with the auditory hallucinations. But we need to keep you here for a few more days to monitor the new dosage. Before I go, I'd like to ask you one more question so I can better understand you as a patient. When you said the voices tell you to get the hell out of here before they catch you again, who is they? Who are the voices warning you about?" She laughed. This white woman was too much. All that worldly education, she never thought to lift the curtain herself. "They're telling me to run," she said. "They're telling me to get away as fast as I can from people like you who think there's nothing to be afraid of." Safe sex. My white health teacher in school wore polo shirts with the insignias of the country club she belonged to, matching the bows she wore in her hair, and one day she told us about AIDS and HIV, began her pedagogy, saying if we contracted HIV, we will die from it. I can still see that woman, a voice, loud, certain, and white. Die from it. You will die, she said. My health teacher, who lived on the rich side of town, who barely knew who I was or knew my name. You will die, she roared. And it wasn't her problem if I did. She was a well-bred lady. No one like her would die from AIDS. It was illogical. I was one of the 5 black kids at their school. She's speaking for us. Her mythic certainty, she wanted to be inevitable. We will die from having sex. I am not white or from a money family who belong to country clubs. Her speech designated for me. I am going to die if I have sex, even if I practiced safe sex. The disease would plunder body and soul. Voice disguising itself, my white health teacher's throat. You will die. Gain entry anyway. Powerful, without regard. There is nothing that could protect me from a destiny of dying from having sex. When she went to play golf on weekends, death didn't dream about her. Not gonna happen. Her life, faultless, white, wearing red bows in her hair, white polo shirt. You will die from it. No matter how I lived, disease would find its way to me in the air through her sermon. I was one of a handful of black kids. It was terror. What if someone put a virus, any virus, inside me while asleep? You will die from it, without compassion. And class was over. But is class ever really over? Her voice, my voice, her voice, my voice, her voice. I will die, I will die, I will die. Will I live if I'm black? On seeing an ad for Levi's Still I Rise tees for Black History Month. Still I rise. Yeah, well, someday I won't. I got a headache from altitude illness, the high business of lifting ourselves up and figuring out where to go. They go lower and I get high as a reprieve from what's neither lowest or highest. Business as usual, pursuit at a cruising speed of normalcy. A steady, even flow of proselytizing from the pulpit of an ad campaign to catch more loyal consumers. Now that we're free of de facto bondage, we can get paid a premium, hopefully, modeling gratitude. Letter to a young black conservative. You can probably guess who this is addressed to. Especially you've been following her and Cardi B going back and forth on the Twitter sphere. But, girl, you got yourself handpicked and possessed at such an impressionable age. Your teen-bod age is on life support, stuck in a laboratory of renowned horrors. Barbed wire, surveillance, towers all around it, spouting out the worst type of negligent lies to assuage your ego and kidnap your will. Little men with flag scarves and maggot hats monitoring your every move now, making sure you forget who you are so you can never return. This is beyond death. It's a social zero of spiritual slavery. Your mannequin mouth is controlled by the very forces that will destroy you. You think their money is a good thing, tricked you into thinking their thoughts were your own, and it made a stingy individual out of you. Somewhere an ancestor weeps and logs your crimes, but you can't feel them. Power makes people do unspeakable things, makes the proximity of power feel like an honorable reality, makes you perform for a man whose only agenda is to kill everyone for himself. American magic is some deep, old, dangerous shit. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it again. White people are some of the best magicians around. They know how to hunt insecurity, and you fell right in, snapping your head off to live as a caricature you think you've escaped by being young, pretty, and good at pimping the industry to the tune of the corny jingles they want to feel, and the static language of a nation that exists only in the most acrid of imaginations. I hope one day you live to regret the career path you've chosen. I really do. But this letter is the last time I'll waste any precious headspace on why you do the things you do. I have to use all my energy these days to prevent the power you defend from eroding what's mine. But since I've spent lifetimes studying up on what white supremacy does to a person's drive to live, I'll be just fine. Not that the livelihoods of billions of black people are of any concern to you. I made my choice before you were even born. You, on the other hand, will keep stumbling along in the pale, and may the Loas help you if you ever find the black light switch. Sincerely, your concerned elder ex-sister. Lake come and gone. I'm in a kayak watching a man dressed as Uncle Sam waving around a plastic sword, guiding the pontoon parade across the lake. It's tradition to adorn boats with beer slides, streamers, and women wearing screen print t-shirts that say Lake Girl in collegiate font. Despite the last 3 years of floundering national leadership, the vacationers deliver a display of loyalty not exempt from doubt. As for me, the other side of the grand show, I'm trying to balance my life inside the kayak. It's their big day, the birth of a nation in crisis. Overhead, a bald eagle appears about 50 feet from our position. Symbolic gesture, too good, too perfect to be true. Then I see 3 tiny birds attacking the eagle, driving it from their nests. The mild storm strolling in, delaying fireworks when everyone will be thinking of going home. Excuse me. God walks out of the room when you're thinking about money, after Quincy Jones. God slams the door on a lot of folks these days. The billionaires, he slammed the door so hard the door broke off its hinges. Dearest daughters, wealthy men across the board with their women think they invented beauty. If you go downtown, lesser demons scramble on their hind legs for any piece luminous with delusions of wealth. God realizes this. But like I said, God is still human and has his idiosyncrasies. Instead of finally doing something about it, he grabs his jacket, slams the door, and takes a cab to his favorite tavern. He hasn't figured out how to speak to his children since they left the house, outmatched in cleverness and technology. They petition him when he's supposed to be working, each demanding their own empires. And since God hates feeling guilty, he pays some of them off. Believe me, my broke ass has called his office more than once. Nearly impossible to get an appointment, which is just as well. For generations, women have been surviving with God and will keep surviving without God. Appropriate reaction. It should be a parody. Shocked, disgusted. Got no awards for, you mean to tell me? So disappointing. Shocked, disgusted. The end of democracy. Late-stage capitalism. Shocked, disgusted. Jokes write themselves. Trying to understand. No, this isn't The Onion. This is the new normal. Shocked, disgusted. Hold them accountable. We need more empathy. Shocked, disgusted. Totally floored right now. Trying hard to process. Is this an SNL skit? The end of our republic. My heart goes out to, I can only sympathize. Shocked, disgusted. Are you fucking kidding me? You mean all of this is real? You can't make this shit up? Got a few more here. I love reading this one. I could really go for a deep hug. Free hugs, screamed a white man at the hippie fest, but I wouldn't hug him, an unknown, a man old enough to be my father. It was the first time I saw hugging as a kind of currency among the countercultural. It was cute, I guess. I hugged women I'll never see again, didn't even know their names. I saw women hugging that man. He seemed okay. Everyone knew him. But you never know. He believed in those hugs he was giving. He could heal the world. But I didn't trust him. His hugs were fishing for something else. Trust your intuition, Nikki, which I did that time, and smiled. Walked by. Hugged women instead when they asked. I'll hug my sisters. We share histories. It was comforting, resting for a minute. From bad men, probably, ourselves. The powers that permeate. There was no reason to advertise these hugs were free. No reason at all. Currency was out of bounds. We are beyond. Women holding beyond the value of labor. But the guy kept screaming from his position every day. Free hugs! Free hugs! His wide eyes, he was so convinced he had what it takes. Selling it, declaring himself free. Come on, people, now I got these. Free hugs! Human contact at no cost. But something was not right. Like when they tell you we're lucky to live in the land of the free, to be proud. The hugs he was giving out cost someone something somewhere, probably a woman, where he acted out on her body what he wasn't capable of giving. Now he was free of her and his women troubles. He was purveyor of Free Hugs, Inc. Meanwhile, women, total strangers, hug each other everywhere, waiting in line to use the bathroom, trying to put our lives back in the aftermath. A coworker suddenly reaching over to hug you, letting you know she's here with you in male-dominated spaces. I hug you back and mean it, except at first it might be a shy hug, half hug, but when my body hurts, thieving ache, low down blue ache, fellow man, I mean, no dude, I don't want your hugs. Screaming enterprises of touching women benevolently. I'm looking for real friends, kinfolk, women who understand, to share a deep ache of another day of terror perpetuated by the U.S. government. I could really go for a deep hug by women and femmes, the country's #1 targets. We're not supposed to ask for what we need. Here I am, asking for deep hugs. If someone is interested in hugging, I'll hug back with what I can hold, which doesn't feel like much to me at the moment. Maybe it'll be enough for who I'm hugging. Maybe I need reminding I can survive. We should survive. Strengthening ourselves, bleakly. Lost in America. Among the killings, among the permits, among the dull transparency, among the hunger, among the family beyond my reach, among the labor pool, among that type of bread, among the registered voters, among the paperless statements, among the eye of the beholder. I'm lost among your ethics, among New World glossaries, among the pages of windows. I'm lost inside your mesosphere on what's toxic and what's not in America. I am certainly lost at the political match among reoccurring wars no one dares to injure on the ride home. Among the ink tracking, my God, new moods helping to reimagine a world beyond the sunrise. Among the maps they used to leave in our hair, Celia got away, bad hip and all. Among electronic billboards jammed with the black faces of runaways. Don't call this toll-free number if you see her armed and dangerous, healing from the law. Among marijuana fields owned by the same old, against the embargo of time. I think we'll end on a more hopeful note. Manifesto. I'm putting this to paper before I lose my nerve, my courage, before this poem breaks from lies and I have to part ways with you. For I declare on this afternoon, it is my sacred right to be loved gently and serenely. Yes, I said it. I'm asking for it right now, on my knees in the failing city. I ask for common lovers to persist. I want human hope to survive, shaking open your ragged vault until the last brutal injustice exits all nests of the lonely, weeping like extinct birds at the divine gates of a paradise that deceives no one. I take back the right to love myself completely. Amen. Thank you.